Welcome to Body Efficiency Training, and in this video we're going to be working on the correct posture in the half squat position. So we're going to start off here with a nice easier version, a version where we lean on our thighs. And you try and straighten out the arms and let the shoulders stretch up as you squat down to the half squat position. Knees go slightly out, toes slightly out, no pressure on the knee. Now the trick is to project the hips backwards and keep the belly pulled in tight. So you're trying to maintain the correct spine, the same spine as you squat down. And you're trying always to feel the knees carefully, no pressure in the knees. All the pressure or all the stretch goes into the hips. So the lower you go, the further you project your hip joints back. So I'm actually projecting the hip bone in the pelvis. I'm really stretching the hips. And then to rise up, you squeeze the glutes, push the hips back in again to rise up. So again, it's not the knees, not so much the thighs, it's the glutes and the hips to go down and the glutes and the hips to rise up again. So here you see the full stretch in the spine, but I'm still arching back. Then I push the hips in, squeeze the glutes to rise up again. Now very careful of the knees. The knees, you really want to make sure there's no pressure on the knees. All the work is done in the hip joint. And this hip joint is very strong. So we've got to practice this every time we sit down in a chair and get up again. So now we're doing it without leaning, just trying to sit down to the half squat position. You gradually work between the hips and the knees. So you project the hips out, lever forward, but trying to keep an arch backwards. You lift up the shoulders and the rib cage, pull the belly in tight, always pull the belly in tight, the navel towards the spine. The lower you go, the more you project your hips. Then you squeeze the glutes, push the hips forward to rise up again. But you always check the knees. So hips first, then bend the knees a little bit, then bend the hips a bit further, then bend the knees a little bit, trying to make sure no pressure on the knees. All the work is going in the hips and the ankles. You can rise up on the ball of the foot a little bit, but whatever you do, no pressure in the knees, no sharp pain in the knees, no twist in the knees. You're trying to find the most efficient, easiest way of doing this. And it's a bit of work to learn this, but when you get it right, it's easy. You're now also rising and sinking through the center line of your gravity. So as you lever forward, your weight goes forward, but to counteract that, you've got to project your bottom backwards. So you lever backwards, stick your bottom out, project your hips back, then bend the knees, lever further forward. If there's any pain on the knees, you lever further forward from the hips. Bend over further, stick your bottom out further. Then to rise up, squeeze the glutes and push them in to rise up nice and tall, keeping the belly tight. Okay, I hope this was very helpful. It's worth practicing every time you get down into a chair and stand up again. We do this all day long. Hope you enjoy this little video and look forward to seeing you in the next one.